Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today I will show you the tournament which gave me my first OTB chess title, so the candidate master title. So before I actually start to showing you the games, I have to explain you that I've been working very hard. I never did anything else in my free time than only playing chess, and knew before the tournament that I was capable of, drawing or winning against 2400s because I already did that in my OTB games. So it's not like I'm a beginner and I just became, titled like this. No, I had to play many tournaments and I needed a lot of experience. But today we will actually see how I did that. So I will show you first of all the fifth round because this is the game changer. So I played this first round. And in the first four rounds, I played strange chess. I was winning after 15 moves with only one pawn up, but somehow I couldn't really win, and I was a little bit unlucky according to the engine. But it happens. You need all kinds of experiences. But this round was really, really, really important. I was playing against Miosi Marco from Italia, and basically, I'm playing with a white. And I know that I have to win. I have, I think, 2.5 out of 4. So if I manage to win right now, I would eventually break and play against the tournament leader that I faced in the last round. But we will look at this last game afterwards. And I'm playing with the white pieces. I'm playing my casual ready opening. So in the end of the video, I will actually teach you basically how to improve your level of playing and your skills in a short-term vision. Because if you want to get a title in one tournament, the way I did it, you really have to be capable of producing a high level of playing during the tournament. After and before the tournament, it doesn't matter. Before this tournament, I played 2 tournaments in France that went very poorly. I couldn't win against 1800s. It was catastrophical. And then I come to this tournament and I win against FIDE Masters. So that's the thing. Okay, we play casual ready, and I have a lot of experience in these structures. Not only did I analyze them a lot, but I played a lot of blitz games online, probably around 3,000 games. And during these 3,000 games, of course, after each game, I just analyzed the openings because I knew that I was capable of not blundering anything tactical or strategical, but I have a huge opening problems. I have huge opening problems basically. And okay, we work on this line, and I play a special move, knight c3. I don't want to tell you too much, but basically when black plays d6, black wants to go c5, and now if you go c5, I can take everything, go bishop e3, and basically you don't have any good ways of defending this pawn. If you go b6, there is knight e5. If you play knight b7, I play rook d1, threatening to win. Again, there is no b6, there is knight e5. And if you move the rook, knight b5. And if you go rook f8, I have knight b5 anyways. And basically, too many problems. And I'm doing like W movements with my knight, and I'm already winning. I'm already winning a pawn anyway. But okay, it's a little bit of theory. It's not really the point of today's lesson. My opponent played knight c6, and I knew that I was just clearly better after 8 moves, and we went into it, and basically I have this winning position. And now what I did is that I used the only skill that I know. That means I try to force some sort of a Zugzwang in the middle game, and this is really the most important skill that you have to to absorb and actually understand. Force your opponent to not have a lot of moves. If you manage to do it, believe me, you will force your opponents to make a lot of tough mistakes that they would probably never do. If you really aim for the Zugzwang in the middle game, it's just crazy how much games you can actually win once you understand the amount of moves that your opponent cannot go for. And sometimes you cannot calculate anything or find any good moves for your opponent because there is just nothing. And in those cases, you just have to improve your position, and we will see that in the game. And this is really a high level game, what I produce you. And the reasons why many players are actually grandmasters is that when they have positions in which there is absolutely nothing to play, they still manage to play some small moves here and there, and basically they manage to survive. But my opponent didn't until he did. Knight a6. So this is, I don't want to say logical, but I think that he had to play like with c6 structure, not to take, because be careful. Let's say I play rook e1. If he takes, he has a huge weakness on e7. This is called a backwards pawn. And you have to be capable of recognizing this sort of patterns. But he has to put some pressure on the pawn structure, eventually play around the pawn, and eventually at some point try to really strike my pawns. But this is difficult. But my opponent is 2100, so he should be capable of seeing that. And by the way, he had a poor tournament, I think. Yeah, then he lost 4 games in a row. Yeah, he only won against me because I did something. I will show you what happened. Knight a6, queen d2. So I'm just improving my pieces, preparing to put my rooks in the middle. I see that if he wants to go knight c5, I can basically just take or go e5. If knight b4, I can still go a3. And if he wants to go knight g4, trying to get my bishop, I have bishop d4. And if, of course, we trade his Fianchetto bishop, it's already a huge practical advantage. F4, F5, or H4, H5, or H3, knight moves, H4. This is already great, etc., etc. So even though I know that I don't have anything to calculate, I still have to make sure that he won't be capable of producing, some small improvements in his position. And now if you look at my position, my pieces are actually great. I will just put my pieces there and my position will be more than perfect. Bishop d7, and this is already the first inaccuracy. I think he had to go knight bd7. I'm sorry, knight d7. Basically, either f5 or e5, but he has to produce some sort of a counter vision of the board, because right now I have a huge center. I have a very beautiful transfer square, so basically my pieces can jump from one side of the board to the other thanks to my default square. So this is my transfer square, and I am just ready of putting my rooks in the middle and eventually put my knight there, eventually play f4 to control the e5 square. So even though I have a huge control of the d4 square, he has e5 square, and he has to do something about it. But instead he played bishop d7. I looked at this move. Nah, it's bad. Boom, e5. And the reason why it's not +1 but only 0.4, it's not today's topic, but I just want to show you that I calculated the move knight g4, and my vision is that I wanted to go for the pawn move e6. And what I calculated is actually the engine line. Takes, knight g5. So I'm fighting both the bishop and the pawn. If you go bishop f7, I take and I win the exchange, or more or else. I can also just take like this and go like bishop d5. But this is probably better because it's just better. And if he goes bishop c8, this is what I calculated. I thought that I can play, I think it was this move or this move, I don't remember. And basically, if I go it like this, there is e6 and this is unclear. But the engine says, no, black, because somehow I'm better, even though my bishop is trapped. The engine says that in this position, black should go for this move. If I take, there is knight f1, and after I take back, bishop c8, now it's actually great. And the engine says it's equal. Which is, of course, ridiculous. It doesn't make any freaking sense. And that is why it's only equal and not +1. I don't even want to understand why. I don't see any good moves for black. So if humanly you don't see anything, you cannot blame yourself for making a typical engine mistake. But okay, d takes e5, knight takes, and now I know that I'm just clearly better. Why? Because if he goes e6, I can take, and my rook is great, my bishop is great, and if he goes c6, I can take, and the pawn structure will be like, let's assume that nothing is hanging here. This pawn structure is just a problem. So rook a d8, rook a d1, rook f e8, and now I see that at some point, he was afraid of the e-pawn, which is normal because, my rook is looking at this pawn. The pawn can never march forward, otherwise I would take. And let's assume, we take, the f-pawn will take back at some point, even if we trade the rooks and the queens on e6. And basically, he will have a huge weakness on e6 that I can be able to use at some point. And you have to recognize these things. I played bishop d4. Now, I know that this rook will never get away, otherwise he lost the tempo for no reason. The queen isn't putting any pressure. He's not threatening c6 or e6, because e6 I can just take and this is wide open. And now if he moves the knight somewhere, the bishop will get traded, and if he has like some backwards pawns problems, plus a weak king, that is a bad position for black. He played queen f5, trying to get some free air, but also I had to calculate the move e6, because if I take, I don't remember exactly what I saw, but basically I think he could like trade everything, and it was unclear. And if I go bishop h3, there is rook e1, for example, this, and queen takes d7. And I realized that after e6, I have the move bishop h3, which is important to calculate. You have to force yourself to recognize your opponent's ideas and threats. Basically, if he goes knight takes, I take the bishop first. If you take, of course, I just take back. And after you take, I can take that way. Because if pawn takes, I take the queen. And if you go queen takes, I can take. If pawn takes, I can just win a pawn. And I don't remember actually what... No, I'm sorry. I have queen c3 check. Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I'm tired. And basically, I'm winning the queen. And if he goes for anything else, then I'm just winning a piece. So that's the main thing. So once I realized that, he played queen f5 because he wanted to go e6. I played rook e5, and I thought that he wanted to go queen c8, but then I can just play rook e1, and notice that I'm really putting a lot of pressure on the e7 pawn. And there is no e6. And okay, and he played queen d7, but okay, now I realize that, probably he wants me to play rook e1 and then repeat the moves. Of course, I will not repeat the moves. I want to win this tournament and get my candidate master title. So I played the move queen e2, and I calculated that if he goes knight h5, trying to do something, again, I'm preventing my opponent of doing some things. I calculated that I can sacrifice the exchange, and basically I have a huge compensation for the pawn. If you put this position on the engine, it will be +5 or +6. This is coming. I can also take in rook d4, and this is like the typical things. I would probably just take and go rook h4, by the way. This is important strategically. When there is no more g pawn on the Fianchetto structure, you should attack on the h pawn. But okay. King h8, so that after knight h5 there is less problems. And also he wants to go knight g8 at some point. So I played a3. Why? Because I realized that after the move knight g8 that he will play in the game, if we reach this position, I'm just very happy that this knight will never be capable of joining the game again. Also, if he wants to go b6 defending the a pawn, I can play queen takes a6. This is important to note. Because after the knight f6, I've realized that I can just go rook a4, which is just winning a pawn on this spot. There is no b6, and I thought that in this position, I'm just clearly better because there is nothing black can really do about this position. I'm up a pawn, but I thought that this bishop is still slightly strange. I don't see any good way for black to create any sort of counterplay. There is no e6 because I can just take, but even here, I thought that even though it's completely playable, there should be something better. I really wanted to optimize my position. And this is the type of things you should be capable of doing in your own games. Not only go for the main stuff, which looks forced and winning, because sometimes it's simply not. And this is very important for your classical chess games, but really, really, don't try to go for positions which are forced. Because if there is, for example, a capture or a check or anything in that way, it's basically forcing a one-move response. And when there are only one-move responses, it's a lot easier for your opponents to not make any mistakes. I played queen e3. Queen e3 is basically preparing, because I understood that my bishop is not good, I basically prepared to go bishop f1 and bishop e5. It was my plan, and this is what I did. And now I'm also threatening to take the knight in between, so I'm basically winning the tempo. So he played queen d6. Now if I take, he can go for queen takes, and even there I realized that I can go like rook f4, and I have some compensations. I also thought that I could go for rook c4, but I found the best way to handle this position, which is bishop e5. There is no c6 because I can first of all take, and this is a bad structure, and eventually I will also win the rook. And if he goes like rook f8 like in the game, now I can either attack on the king side or on the queen side. So I did both. Rook h4, h5. And now I will play a move which is still giving me an advantage, but the engine doesn't like it. It's bishop takes a6. So if you go queen takes, sure, I take the pawn and I'm up a pawn. So this is simple. But the engine says it's actually equal, because here, I don't know what the engine wants, but basically he says that knight g4 and this is probably playable, which is something that I saw and that I thought about. But even if I take, which is the engine recommendation, it's still +1. So this is like real human chess, and this is basically what I wanted to go in. And the engine says it's +1, either +3, because instead of going bishop a6, if I start with rook c4, which is the move that I decided to play, I'm actually not taking this knight, and what I'm doing is that I'm just not allowing the knight to play. So notice how the engine is actually playing the way we humans want to play. Basically, now I'm threatening to take. There won't be any queen takes because of takes on c7, and if, let's say, king h7 takes, and if you take with the pawn, there is rook c6, which is just a clear win. So I think you have to go like queen b6, but then I can play h3 just to prevent knight g4. The engine really hates knight g4 for white, but okay, it doesn't matter. I took, he took back, and now I played rook c4, which is still winning. And now queen b6. And now in this position, I did a mistake, which is something incredible. But I had to do this mistake. And this is something that people don't understand when it comes to playing chess. There was yesterday the match Hans Niemann against Magnus Carlsen, and Hans probably did a mistake before the tournament. He was extremely confident, and he didn't take in consideration the fact that he wasn't in a great shape. Also, it's like a crazy experience that you go, for example, to an interview and you face the people that were just hating you all the time, for the past years. So probably he just he didn't handle his position as great as he wished he would. But he had to make this mistake. I don't want to say he's wrong, because I personally don't think so. But basically, this is a new experience, and he had to have this. He had to have this experience. But now he will never make this mistake again, and the next time he will win, because this is the way it works. Anyway, why am I talking about this position? Because I did a huge mistake that I will never make again in the last 4 rounds. I basically calculated I can take on e7, and I calculated that if he takes here, I have rook c6, threatening checkmate, knight g4, and now I can go like a queen takes or knight a4. The queen is getting out, and this is basically winning, because it is. And once I realized that, I knew that my position is winning. Then the second choice, which was actually my first intuition move, is like rook c6. And I calculated that if he takes, of course, this is easy peasy winning. I'm improving my own structure, and this is just a simple win. Knight a4, knight c5. This is a pure domination. And if you go for this move, I can still take. And this is just very simple win. I mean, this is elementary win. For a blitz player, for a rapid player, for a classical player, automatic mode. And I calculated all these moves. And and even this move, this is also something that I calculated, and then we transpose it to the stuff that I calculated. And I calculated everything well. And somehow I wanted to make even better. I wanted to be the greatest ever. And I thought, you know what, Loris, go for something extremely positional, extremely technical, so that you can actually improve your chess. And it was the biggest mistake of the game. And this was actually my only mistake in the game. I thought that taking on b6, yeah, sure, it's improving the pawn structure, but the pawn structure is still bad. And I can go for the moves that I actually played in the game and play rook d4, and I will win. When you play a classical chess game, this is a mistake that you have to do, but you had to do it to never make this mistake again. You cannot use your tournament game as training games. You have to go for the best moves and win. And once you identify the best move, go for it. In training games, find something better, like Tartakova said. But in such an important game, don't mess around. And this is exactly what I did. Rook c8, and I realized that I lost my advantage. And on the top of that, I cracked mentally, and basically, he just demolished me with this great knight. And here I had to go knight d1, which my brain didn't see. I thought that b3 is just doing the job of trapping this knight. Now it's -5, and I'm just lost. -10. And now he was extremely meticulous, and now he played extremely well, and he actually managed to win a very clean game. And okay, now it's not important. But why am I showing you this game? Because I messed up. But when the game ended, I was sitting at the board, I wanted to cry, because I did like 1,200 kilometers with a car. I went to this island, Malilozing, everything was just collapsing, and I was training hard, I didn't eat correctly during the tournament, every day, we didn't have a lot of money. I was there with my brother. We didn't have a lot of money, at the supermarket. We just bought, bananas, a kefir. This is like a special type of milk, with some more bacteria. It's like yogurt with a lot of bacteria, and we ate every day. Stacks at Lidl for 70 cents, because in Croatia you can buy some small stacks, like meat, basically a 4-piece of meat for 70 cents. This is not the greatest meat ever, but this is meat. And we had like bananas, meat, milk, kefir, and bread. And we had for €6 per day of eating, plus the water. So like we had like €10 to give every day, but we didn't have actually any money with us. We only had the money to pay the the road back, because when you're in Croatia you have to pay on the road all the time, like in France, and in Italy also, because we went through Italy and through Slovenia. And basically we didn't have any money. we put it a lot of efforts, and I forced my brother to live the same way I lived this tournament. Okay, and he did a lot of sports, so for him it was okay. But it was crazy, and I lost this game even though I shouldn't have, and I wanted to just fall apart in tears because that's basically the feeling that you have, you know. And it was extremely hard, and I realized that instead of falling into panic and feeling bad, etc., I thought, okay, but now I cannot lose anymore. If I lose or if I make a draw, the tournament is probably over. And on my way back, I was calling my brother. I was almost in tears, but I managed to compact myself, and I started to talking to myself, and I was like, "You played like a grandmaster because it was a very high level game. You played like a grandmaster, and then you did one mistake. And the reason why I did this mistake is because I overthought." At this point, and really take notes, guys, because my experience will actually help you in your positions. Here, I had like 19 minutes, and when I played this move, I took like 6 minutes. It's nothing. 6 minutes for such a position. I mean, I calculated everything extremely accurately, extremely fast. So it's not like I'm a beginner. But I did an overthinking mistake, which is a problem. And on the top of that, I thought that, you know what, Loris, you have 19 minutes. Don't do any responsible moves. A responsible move is a move that is just changing the nature of the position. In this position, black has a bad pawn structure, weak king, weak pawns. Your queen is your better piece. This is the strongest piece on the board. And I just spit on all the chess principles, and I traded off my strongest piece, my queen right now, which was attacking absolutely everything. I improved his pawn structure. It was extremely responsible because I just changed the whole nature of the position, and he doesn't have any more weaknesses after queen takes b6. And I knew that it was exactly that my move was doing that. But somehow I didn't trust. I just didn't respect myself. And even there, after rook c6, rook d6, I can just play rook e1, and this is equal, but this is somehow extremely unclear. Because if you go rook e8, I can go for this move. And if you grab here, I can just take, and there is a pin. And if you go like for rook d5, here I can just go knight here, and this is extremely unclear. I mean, now I'm still fighting for a win. This is extremely simple to blunder this position. And if he takes, this is probably equal, but this is not the same type of equal. We have to go b5, and okay, you're threatening b4, but even if you are, obviously, this position, this is at the very least equal. Probably there is knight e4, by the way. So probably it's just equal. But do you see what I mean? It's like I have billions of possibilities that I just didn't trust. And I knew that it was bad, but somehow I thought it was okay. So I realized that I was playing like, a very high level. I just spit on this 2100. And I think it's really like, I don't want to say grandmaster game, but at least, I was, definitely the better player. And once I realized that, I thought, okay, tomorrow in your next game, you just have to play the same way you did play in this game. Don't change anything. Sure, I did a mistake, but, this is the same me that played like this, and this is the same me that took on b6. I'm the same person. It's not like someone else just took my hands and played this move. It was me, and I was the only one controlling the chessboard. And I realized that I could trust myself, even though I played one bad move, but I could still trust myself. And once I realized that, I went to the next game, 6th round. And the 6th round was really was very hard. I played with the black pieces against the candidate master, Blas Debevec, and I had to win with the black pieces because at this point in the tournament, I have 4 games left. I have to win. d4. He doesn't play d4. d5, c4, e6, knight f3. And I want to cry. I want to cry. For me, I've seen this guy is an e4 player, and it smells like he wants to go for a Catalan. And the Catalan, this is a problem because how do you want to win with the black pieces against the Catalan? And I play knight f6, and I say, please, play knight c3, play the exchange, queen's gambit, something. Please play something, fight for the win. Don't fight for a draw against me right now. and he plays g3, and I just want to cry, and I don't know what to do. And okay, after this game, I actually prepared a because after this game I played with the white pieces against someone, and it was an okay game. I just destroyed my next opponent, so the next game isn't really interesting. But I will still show it to you. But basically, we reached that position, and um, I play what I know. So bishop b4, bishop b7, and basically I play a structure that I really enjoy. I play b6, he played knight bd2, I played bishop b7. This is a structure that I really enjoy. There is really nothing white can do against it. And here he will make a mistake, and I knew it's a mistake. To 95. And here, I don't know what to play. Either takes or knight h5, but I know that I have an advantage. Both moves are okay, but knight h5 is already a great practical advantage for black. It's only minus 0.5, so it's okay. But basically, if you take, I take back, and after bishop e3, I play c5. And even if we trade everything off like this, this is defended, so I'm okay with even trading like this. I can even take on c4. And if we trade everything off in the center, then actually we just have an equalized position, but an equalized position in which I have a knight and you have a strange knight on d2, and it's okay to equalize with the black pieces because you cannot fight for a win if you didn't equalize before that. So I'm okay with equalizing, and the problem of the Catalan is white always has a small edge, and this is problematical. But okay, I ended up playing this move, takes, 97, which is okay, but rook c8 is probably slightly better. But I just didn't feel okay, allowing him playing some e4. So I felt like, okay, let's just play 97 and knight f6, and we will see what he wants to achieve. Now with e4, I can take. So I knew that he would eventually play that. If I go for that move, there is rook d1 and the queen is trapped. So that is why I thought that I could just, I don't remember actually, play queen d7, then rook d8, and then eventually take. And if we play a position like this, let's say rook ad1, rook fd8, it feels like I have less pace, but actually white is, still has some hard time really dealing with my c5 threats. My next moves are basically queen e8 and c5, and this position is playable. He has to go c5 at some point, but then I will have the d5 square. But this is double-edged. I might be slightly worse, but we are fighting for something. And this is important, that we are fighting for something. He plays rook fd1, and I realized that if I want to fight for something, I have to go c5. But I wasn't sure that this position was really... Okay, I know that this position is great, but like... Somehow I think I lost really the point of playing that position because I didn't see how to fight for something. And I realized, okay, let's just see what he wants. This, and let's go knight f6. Now... I want to go takes or c5. And I think he has to go c5 for fight for something. But takes, and e5, and this is double-edged, this is difficult, but probably black is slightly better. So he went bishop f4, and I realize it's not my game. I won't do anything. I cannot allow him to go e4, because the more I look at this position, the more I realize that the thing that I just showed you right now doesn't go for me. This is too strong, and in the Catalan, white wants to prove that the g2 bishop is better than the c8 bishop. Now it's a lot stronger than my bishop. So I realized that, okay, I don't see what to do. Let's go back, and of course he repeats. And we repeat the moves, and we make a draw. And again, the world is falling apart. I have 3 points out of 6. It is impossible for me right now to get my title. And on the top of that, before the tournament, I calculated how many points I would need to win. 2 years ago, I played the same European Chess Championship, and I had 6.5 points out of 9. I didn't lose any game, and I ended up being 5th, 3rd after third ex aequo, but 5th after tie breaks. And I realized that, and I understood, okay, now this tournament is probably over. I will have to win everything, but winning everything is impossible. I go back into my room. Everyone is playing until 21 o'clock, even though we start the game at 15 o'clock. I look at the results and I realize, wait, what is happening? You know what? I will actually show you what I found, because this is actually great. This is really great. After the 6th round, I see that, I have 3 points. The leader has 5 out of 5, but the second one has 4.5 out of 6. so 5.5 and 4.5. So actually I realized that I'm only 1.5 points behind the second place and only 1 point away from the third place. And now if I actually win 3 rounds in a row, I am capable of, actually getting back on the top. Probably even second place, because with 3 rounds you can get 1.5 points. Oh wait, actually you don't see anything, you just see this points. But basically I'm here. I have 3 points. So, and I realize that actually I still have a chance, but I have to win everything. So, okay, I go back into my room. Now I feel that there is only one small % chance that I get top 3, and top 3 gets the candidate master title. And okay, and I go back into my room. I eat something. We still don't have any. I go back the next day, and I see a guy, and he has a poor tournament. At this point, he did some draws. He won a game because this guy resigned, even though it was equal. I don't know why he resigned, but this guy, this Tomisław Koledyniak, he basically resigned against my opponent in the prior round. But my opponent, I knew that he was having a bad tournament. I mean, these are bad results, and he was winning here, he was winning there, But and Švitkovic, okay, this is a very nice guy, but he had, he was pretty unlucky in the tournament. But okay, and we played together. Knight f3, knight f6, and we basically played the same thing: d4, d6, knight c3, and he played d5. For me, it's preparation, by the way, because it's the same game that I played against Miozi Marco, but okay, d5. This is basically the best move. I play what I know, knight e5, and basically we played the game. The engine says that at some point black was slightly better, but with the difficult move. I mean, after this move, I wanted to go knight f3, and I know that I'm slightly better because he cannot push e5. And I think he has to go like knight here, but then I can even play e4. And you have to allow that with the black pieces to basically try to reach something, but this is not simple. You need some engine calculation. But okay, bishop f4, knight a6, queen d2. The engine says inaccuracy, but who cares? Here the engine says to go e4, which is something that I saw, but I thought that there is probably something better than e4. And okay, and I ended up playing queen d2, rook e8, and I realized that e4 was probably the best move. But okay, there are still many pieces on the board, so I don't really care if I miss something. It's very simple to actually miss a move, and it's difficult to calculate everything here. You really have to understand the position. And I realize that I'm taking a lot of time, to actually understand what is going on, while my opponent is taking a lot of time to calculate. And it's part of the game. It's part of the journey to understand what is the thinking process of your opponents. And when you prepare for your opponent, you have to understand what is his playing style, not only the openings that he has, really the playing style, the approach that he has to the game. b3. And I'm just thinking, one day if queen b6, I might have something, but I might be able to go rook c1, and at some point I felt like I will have to go for the pawn move b3. And also I'm like waiting, and he has less space, so I really want to see how he will proceed. If knight d7, knight f3 still, and then e4, or knight h4, e4. And he played knight b4. Okay, rook c1, I have to, queen b6. And here my first intention was the move knight d3. And I thought it's a great trap, because after queen d4 there is bishop e3. And then I realized that it's a small calculation mistake, because there is takes, and knight e4, and my queen is counter-trapped. So, and I realized that way before he played queen b6. At this point, I think I wanted to go knight d3, and I realized that if he goes here, I can trap him with this move. And it's only when he started with knight b4 that actually I understood that there is no more traps like this. But it was okay. It's still equal, so I don't care. Equal doesn't mean anything when there are still a lot of pieces on the board. And this is something you have to understand. And here, I understand that I have to do something forcing. I have to do something active. Because otherwise, my opponent would just go rook d8, then probably knight d7, and then probably e5. And if he goes e5, even if I get a pawn, all his pieces are great, and he's putting pressure absolutely everywhere. And I feel like I have to do something forcing. and I calculated 30 minutes, and I played the move. I'm sorry, I calculated 30 minutes, and I played the move. No, not 30. Like I calculated 46. Yeah, I calculated 18 minutes, and I calculated the move e4, which is a great move, by the way. This is the best move on the position. And basically, what I calculated is that if he takes my pawn, I have the move bishop h6, and if you go bishop h8, I have queen f4, threatening to win. If f6, I just take, and if f5, I have, I think, many moves, like even knight g6, and even if I don't have anything special right now, I can even just move back, then play, I don't know, c3, but I think that this move is just winning, because takes and mate, and yeah, so, this is the type of stuff I understood, and if you go like rook f8, there is nothing. Yeah, and the engine says, by the way, that after bishop h6, this is great for black, which is of course something that I saw, but this is very, very unclear because I found the best move, which is e6, and this is very not simple because after queen e6, there's already, I mean, at the very least, there's bishop b7, and if bishop e6, I don't remember what I saw. I don't remember what I saw. I think I saw bishop g6 takes and queen e5. I wasn't sure yet, but I thought this is what I think this is what I thought. Yeah, what does the engine say? The engine says mate. Yeah, this is basically mate. So actually, yes, this is okay. I think after e6, by the way, the best move is now f5, and here this move, and there is no queen h5, which there might be in some lines because when the pawn is on f7, there is a pin, but now there is of course nothing. So I think this is the best variation. But okay, this is not simple, and we gotta give him some credit to miss that. But I've seen that, so it's okay. E6 was in my range, so I had it. But after this move, he played. I'm sorry. Yeah, and by the way, if he goes like takes, I'm basically threatening to crush my opponent's face, and he can just go resign. But after this, he just took on e4, and now I know that I have a clear advantage because my pieces are better. I opened up my position, and I can play c3 or c4, and now it's pure technique already. Bishop h8, huge advantage, and this is just pure technique. The engine here wants to go queen f4, which is something that I saw, but I didn't really get the point because I know that I have more space. So let's just play rook e3. The engine says it's only +1 right now and not +3 anymore. And okay, here I found, of course, a great move, queen c2, which was my point. Now, if you take, I have the move knight g6, takes, and if you go for king h7, there is takes, this, and I think I can just take. If you take with the king, I take there. If you take here, it's mate, and if you go rook takes, I don't know. It feels like I can do whatever I want, even bishop g5 and rook e7. So everything is hanging, and this is just a nightmare. So this is correctly calculated. The only move is bishop g7, but now I'm okay with trading and playing knight f3. And I'm defending my pawn, and now I will actually start targeting all the dark squares around the king with my rooks. So this is something very advanced. Again, I'm attacking on certain color with the rooks. So c5, and c5 is good because if I go d5, I think he has e6, and it was slightly problematical. I didn't really see how to get through, but I found the best continuation, which is taking to keep opening up the position, rook e5. I start targeting the a pawn, queen c7, and here there is a nice trap. After this move, b6, if I play c5, and for example takes and queen takes, then there is rook d1 check. I move and he takes. And if I take, oh no, wait, it's not in that position. I think it's in, I don't remember actually. I don't remember what I saw, but okay, it doesn't matter. Somehow I saw something, but I don't know if it's now or if it's just a side variation that I calculated. Anyway, it doesn't matter because I understood that rook c1 is great. I'm still putting pressure, which means that he cannot move away with his rook, and playing a move like e6 would just be problematical as hell. I mean, too many weaknesses everywhere. Knight g5 followed by knight e4. Like I move the rook and this, and you cannot, get away with the rook because of some problems like this. And I don't know exactly if right now it's working, but it doesn't really matter since this is not my problem. This is his king. So, this is just to show you that something like this might actually exist. In the game, of course, you have to know it accurately. You cannot just say, oh yeah, it's winning, because yeah, it's winning is worth nothing. So I understood that This is important. This is great. This is a good position. Um, yeah, but okay. Of course I found something clearer in the game, but now I just want to present you the main key thinking processes and psychological aspects that you have to apply to actually also be titled. Rook d7. And now I played, of course, the move knight g5. I'm just taking in consideration the fact that at some point he might actually have to go e6, and then I might actually have some tricks on the e6 square, like we saw it in the game. Rook e d8. He wants to get in on d3, and I decided to go queen f3 because I started to have some, I have 9 minutes on the clock, 10 moves to play. 10 moves, 9 minutes, it means that I have 14 minutes to actually play 10 moves. Why 14? Because I get 30 seconds after each move, and I decided to go queen f3, because if he goes, for example, for a rook there, I might actually have something like rook e3. I don't exactly know what came through my mind, but even like queen f4 seems okay. Yeah, because if rook e3, probably, I don't know if it's the best, probably it's not, but, we start to feel the amount of pressure that I'm putting on the king. For example, it might actually happen, because now already I'm threatening to win, I'm threatening to win a piece, and if you move the piece away, then, for example, this is mate, and if you go over there, then I don't know if it's good or bad, but, this is yeah, and I think this is the type of stuff that I saw in the game. But okay, rook f8, and now I played queen e3, targeting this pawn, targeting e8, queen e6, and notice that we actually reached the same position. This is the same position here, but now it's actually his turn. Now this is my turn to play. So I played rook e6, and if you take, of course, there is a nice fork, and otherwise I'm attacking this pawn, and he played knight a7, which, funnily enough, I didn't fully recognize or fully see in the game. And when he played knight a7, I was like, okay, if this doesn't work, I wanted to first go rook g6, and if pawn takes, of course, it's the same trick. And if king takes, I couldn't really find a way to break through. So I decided, you know what? If knight a7 doesn't work, just play rook e4, and then we play the same position. It doesn't matter. But I calculated that I can take, and knight g5, and this is just clearly winning. The engine wants takes, but of course this is ridiculous. So take 6, knight g5 here. And I played knight e6, which is a mistake. I think that queen e6 is winning a lot faster because I'm threatening check, and some mates, exactly like in the game, but also I'm attacking the rook. And if you go rook d6, here I wanted to play f4, and I'm threatening mate. And if you go rook h8, I think I can just go for rook e7, and this is just mate. And if queen g8 in that position, I can take, and knight f7, which is great. And I played knight e6, and then I realized that queen e6 was just better, but then I realized that it still doesn't matter. The king is still dead lost. By the way, here the best move is knight g5, and he has to go king h8, and after king h8, I would have gone queen e6, this, and queen f7, and this is just checkmate. And if you go for this move, there is knight f7, so this is still winning. So he played king g7, but now I played queen e6. And this is the same thing that I just showed you, but it's just that I didn't take the pawn on e6, I just played queen e6. And now I was very accurate until the end. I played the move rook e6. I'm threatening checkmate, and if you take, this is mate. And he had to play rook g8, and now I played the move queen h7. The best move is actually h4 because it's mate, and I blundered. I played queen h7, which is mate in 8 instead of being mate in 4. Take check, and I played f4, which is bad. I had to play h4 check. I don't remember what is the win. King g4, yeah, and queen f7, but this is already too difficult, so I decided to just go for the line that I found immediately, f4 check. If he sacrifices the queen, I won't calculate that, respect me, and if he moves the king like he did in the game, queen f7 is checkmate, and that is great. And this is all you need to know. This is a great game. This is very good. Some inaccuracies in the opening, but like nothing serious. Humanly and engineering, nothing serious, so it's okay. And once I win this game, I understand that, okay, I have to keep playing the same way I played against Miosi Marco. So I played the 8th round, and I'm back in my room, and I'm very happy because I think that I can play against another French guy in our in my tournament section, Cédric Bleuzen. And since the beginning of the tournament, I see that he's doing some tactical mistakes. So I was pretty confident, and I felt like, yeah, now I will play with the black pieces against him, and in the last round I will play with the white pieces against someone, and probably this next game will be pretty okay, and then I can be fully focused on the last round. So I'm the king of the jungle when I go back into my room. And my game lasted pretty long, by the way. I'm in my room. I'm actually in the bathroom, brushing my teeth, and then I realize, wait, there is a problem. It's possible that I can play against the FIDE master Salgado Alaria Carlos. And I realized that, wait, actually, it might be a problem because I might actually play against him with the black pieces. And in the second the idea is crossing my mind, I'm feeling that it's cold in my back. I'm starting to sweat. I take my phone. I check the pairings, and I see that I'm playing with the black pieces against Salgado. And this is a problem because I don't know how to deal with that. I know that this guy is playing the Catalan. This guy is playing extremely correctly, and I don't know how to win against the Catalan, and I don't know how to win against him. If he plays e4, it's okay. I will play the Caro-Kann, and I can win with the Caro-Kann. But if he plays the Catalan, I don't know how to win against it. I see that I'm playing against him with the black pieces, but I don't have any other choice than just winning. And I will analyze during the whole night from basically 20 o'clock, so 8 p.m., until probably 3 in the morning. I will look at old chess videos from Vladislav Tkachev, on the Blitzstream YouTube channel. I will analyze all the games that he won. I'm playing the Catalan with the white pieces. And I know how good it is to actually put a lot of pressure and play for 5 hours and then win. And I'm just under pure pressure. And I start analyzing some games of some grandmasters that I know, like Bilal Belhassen or, what is his name again? Philipp Schlosser, a German grandmaster. Because these guys are grandmasters, but they know how to win against the Catalan. I realized that, I analyze their games, and I find a great idea. And I find a way to not have to fight for, strategical type of stuff. Basically, I find a line in which I'm up 2 pawns, which is one of the main lines, but white is basically strategically better. And I know that white is simply better, but I'm up 2 pawns, and I have like 20 moves of stockfish prepared. And during the whole night, I will prepare the Catalan, and I know all these moves by heart. And even right now, I know these moves. I won't show you that because it's actually pure novelty. This is great. This is just incredible. And even the main lines, even the human approach, I had to do it. I had to find out what is the correct way to play with the engine and what is the human way. What would a human do if it's the first time he sees the position? I analyze all of that. It's great. I arrive at the board. I have the pressure. I couldn't sleep at night. I analyzed until 3, 4 a.m. I slept for 2 hours. I was dead tired. The game is at 15 o'clock, 3 p.m., and I couldn't sleep. During the whole day, I couldn't eat. I was dead hungry because we don't have any money with us. Our parents, of course, they don't know it. We didn't have any money. So of course, we managed to buy some things, but it's not like we went to a restaurant. It's not like we eat something warm. At some point, we bought pasta, and we put the pasta into, this machine to boil water, the boiler, basically. And we did pasta in the boiler because, we had to. Okay, we find some great things. We are in Croatia, so you find someone that is buying, that is selling things for less money. But it's not like we eat the greatest things on earth. We only have, we have what we have. The end. So we are dead hungry. We are under constant pressure, me and my brother, because he's supporting me. I'm supporting myself. We're doing it. I arrive at the game. I have, a hole in my chest because I'm dead hungry. But also, being that hungry is great for chess. Never eat before your chess games. This is something that I'm doing. Doesn't matter if I have money or not with me. Don't eat before your chess games. You're just a lot sharper. I arrive at the board and I feel like, yeah, give me your freaking Catalan and you will see how you will suffer as much as I suffered during the whole night. I arrive at the board. He played e4. I cannot believe that. He plays e4. And when he plays e4, I know that, okay, it's great. You know, he never plays e4. He plays the Catalan. And during the beginning of the tournament, he only played the Catalan. He played once e4, and he played five times the Catalan. And it's the 8th round. So it's okay. And I realized, okay, c6, d4, d5. And he plays the exchange variation. And when he plays this line, I know that it's actually a very serious opening. When I was playing e4, I was playing this line with the white pieces. And with the black pieces, it's extremely important that you understand how to deal with that. Because if you don't deal with this position properly, you might actually lose the game. But it's okay. I don't want to talk too much about the theory, but basically I played the greatest line for black. I take on f3, which is important because white has a huge control of the e5 square, and white actually also has a huge control of the e4 square, but it comes very, very later on. But don't worry about that. Black has a huge control of the e5 square, so it's a dark square. My bishop is on the light square, so it's a light square bishop. And what I want to do is basically I want to give back my piece playing on the light squares to deteriorate his playing on the dark squares in the center. So it makes sense. You know, he has one less piece that can jump on the e5 square. Bishop d6. Takes. Now, for those of you who ask, taking this pawn is not good because after rook b8, queen a6 castles, if you defend this pawn with b4, I have rook b6 and e5, and the king is basically dead. And this is a huge advantage for black. It never happens that black loses this position. Too many weaknesses. I have won many games like this. You know, castles. If he takes, there's still rook b8, rook b1, rook b2. Rook a e1, so he plays the most aggressive variation. He wants to basically play knight e5, e4, and rook lift, queen there, and mating me. I played rook a b8 because I have a castbat structure, and I want to launch a minority attack on the queen side, and I want to face the a pawn and the c pawn, typical in minority attack. And I don't play a6 because a4, and it's taking forever to actually attack. So I play with rook b8, because I'm threatening b5, and if takes, there is a6 winning the piece. Knight e5, b5, this is still theory, I'm still prepared. A3, if he takes on b5, this is what I know. If I go a6, there is a complicated line in which he goes knight b4, and if a5, there's queen a4 on the top of that. But okay, this is still playable. I cannot take because there are some problems, but here knight e4, threatening the fork, and if f3, there is check, b3, and the queen is actually trapped. I'm sorry, the queen is actually not trapped because the rook is hanging. So, you know, this is the things that I know, and I know that white is practically better. So the best move here is actually knight d4 takes, a6, a4 takes. If you take back queen b6, simple, and I'm better. So a5, and here I can go knight e4. You have to go like rook e2, and then I can play f6 or whatever I want, like rook a8 or rook c1, and this is just okay. This is equal. Yeah, this is okay. Probably I missed something somewhere in the variations, but it's just to show you that I understand what's going on. I don't want to show you too much either, so that's the thing. b5, a3, and now rook fc8. I'm sorry, because now that he played a3, after takes, I can play a6 immediately, and after knight c6, there will be a pin. Like let's say he takes a6, takes, there is a pin. By the way, for those of you who ask, if takes a6, knight takes, I cannot take like this because the queen is defended. So I'm losing an exchange. So I'm sorry, full rook. So it's bad. So okay, now it's not the case anymore. I play e5, threatening to play b4 because in the minority attack we are aiming for the c3 pawn. Queen d1. This is also another purpose of rook fc8. There is no queen c2 because of knight d4 pin. So he played queen d1, which is still great. I still know this position. b4, I still know this position. In the game, I took some time because I needed to just verify and make sure that I'm not... No, I really have to get in. Rook e3, and this is where the position starts to be a little bit unknown for me. Rook e3, I realized that, okay, the engineer wants to take, and play knight e7 first, but it doesn't change anything. I started with knight e7. I basically want to let him make the mistake and take, and then I would be just winning already, because d4 and b2 is weak. He played queen e1. Now I take, and even in that position, let's assume that he plays rook h3. I cannot win the pawn because of bishop h7, and I lose the rook on c3. So queen e1, which is slightly slow. I play takes, takes, and now this is the key move of almost any possible exchange Caro-Kann type of positions. It's the move 94. This is a very known theme, but basically I'm okay with sacrificing a pawn, but for that pawn, this is the game actually, I'm having a lot of compensations on the light squares. So 95, and if you go c4, there is knight f6, attacking the rook. If the rook moves, I get the pawn. And if you go c5, I can just go queen d8 or queen d5, and once the rook moves, it's again the same, but I'm also winning the c5 pawn, so it's just clearly better. So in that position, he played. Actually, he did something very funny. I was having my pawn, and in the tournament games, you have the right to take your pawn and do it like this. 2 years ago, I played the same European Chess Championship, but like the other category, and I played against a French guy that actually ended up third at the World Amateur Championship. And basically, this French guy, 2 years ago, he told me, stop doing that. He was very, very, very angry, and I didn't understand. 2 years ago, I didn't have this experience. And the arbiter, which actually, she was also the arbiter of the same tournament this year. She told my opponent that, okay, since I'm not clicking my pen or I'm not doing anything loud, I have the right to do it because chess is basically an all-inclusive game. Basically, you're playing against a human. And it's not because the human next to you smells bad or is sneezing that you have the right to tell him, stop living. And I'm not doing any noises, and I can do something like this. The pawn is okay. I cannot like scream and show my hands and do something like this in front of his eyes, but I can take my pawn and do it like this. It's at the same level as, for example, taking the pen. You write down and you click once just to put it on the floor. I mean, on the table. When you put your pen on the table, it's doing a small. It's doing some noises. It's the same with the pawn, but it's not doing any noises. So it's okay. So it's the same arbiter that's actually helped me, 2 years after the first case. Yeah, and by the way, if you go rook f3, just so that it stays clear, I have the move f5. And if you move, for example, over there, I think I can go knight c3, because if you take, I have queen d4, and I'm winning the rook. No. I'm sorry. I was disorientated. I can go. Wait. Actually, I don't remember. Rook f3. Huh? What am I missing? Rook b3. Yeah, rook b3. And if c4 takes, exactly. And otherwise, I'm just winning the pawn, I think. Yeah. And if rook c2, I have knight c3. Yeah, exactly. It's in that move order. Because now I can do this move. If you go queen there, I can take. No, wait. Yeah, exactly. I can go this way. And if you go for that move, I don't remember. Wait, what am I doing? I don't remember. Wait, I just forgot what I wanted to do. This position. This. Yeah, without f5. Okay, without f5. Yeah, now I remember. This, and in the end I have this move again. Yeah, now I remember. Well, thank you, the engine. Okay, in the game I had it, because of course, you have to know that if you don't have these moves during your game, then you cannot go for this variation. So it's okay. But okay, he played f5, which is very funny. Now it's just losing on this spot for black, and from now it's only technique, because I can take. And his idea is that after rook f5, if I play knight c3, he has to move knight f7. And this is very funny, because if I go queen d7, he has knight h6 check. Takes, queen g3, I'm sorry, not queen g3, rook g4, this, and queen d4. And basically this is forced, and I'm just losing the game. This is very beautiful, by the way, and he found it very well. But the problem is there is queen g6, and now if you go this move, I can just take it. And for you who ask, if check this, he moves away. This is at the very least draw, but I wouldn't be surprised if something like this is winning. Okay, it turns out there's probably rook there, but even then he can take, and this is bad. This is losing for me. And okay, and he realized that, and after knight c3, I'm also attacking the rook. So now I'm winning. And for those of you who will say, yeah, but you didn't deserve this win, he blundered. If you want to win with the black pieces, of course white has to make a mistake or blunder. White has to make a blunder, because if White doesn't make any mistakes, you will never win. And by the way, my opponent didn't lose any game with white pieces already for 10 years. When I looked at all the results that he had, on the FIDE profile and on ChessBase, it's been 10 years that he didn't lose any game with the white pieces. Probably he then lost a game that, in Blitz online. But OTB and FIDE profile, I didn't see any lost game with the white pieces for 10 years. So I basically destroyed his trick. But okay. He played rook f1, I took, and here I found a great variation, rook c7. I wanted to go rook e8 first, and I found some great things like this, boom. But then I found knight c4, and on the top of that, boom, queen h2 check. If you take, I take here. And okay, I don't want to show you too much, but basically, trust me, I'm right. Yeah. And okay, but I ended up understanding that if rook here, he can go queen g4. There is no rook there, queen there because of f7. And if you go that way, again, I can take this, so it's winning. And okay, rook e7, and now it's just a pure technique. Like usual, when you have a statical or dynamical advantage, you absolutely have to force the Zugzwang on the other side. This is exactly what I did. I forced the Zugzwang, and at some point, I want to reach the 40th move. This is exactly what I reached right now. Now I get 30 minutes because I had like 5 minutes on the clock. Queen f4, and now I found the winning continuation already. It's queen c1 check. If king h2, I can take. If queen takes, I take the rook. And if you go pawn takes, rook e2, it's pin. So it's winning. And he has to go king f2. And now I found a great variation, rook e2 anyways. If takes, simple win. And if king g3, I can play rook e2. If queen d2, I trade off. And otherwise, we will reach a position in which I'm up in exchange, but the king is cut off because my rook can't do it. I'm putting this pawn under constant pressure. My king is in the quarter, so if you move forward with the pawn, I will go up with my king. And if the knight moves somewhere, I can, okay, let's say this, I can just win the pawn. And 3 pawns against 2 being up in exchange is simple. G4, and now it's just pure technique. I could have played this move, but I didn't want to enter something like this. Probably I should have, but okay. I played h6, which is great. And at some point, I would just sacrifice my rook on the exchange, on the knight. This is exactly what I did. I played g6, and now I needed to be careful because my first intention was g takes f5, but I didn't see exactly the win because the win was difficult. Actually, I have to turn around. I need to turn around like this, and I didn't find it directly in the game, but once I understood that g5 is also losing the game for me, because if we go for this move, he goes king g6, and I cannot defend and attack at the same time, and I'm even losing this game, which would be, of course, a nightmare. So I play king g7, and now I know it's winning because it doesn't matter what he does. We either reach one position or the other, being up a tempo. King g4, h5, g5, and now it's just automatic mode. I bring my king. If he let my king in, of course, it's a simple win because I will just promote. If the king goes that way, I just push my pawn and promote. King c4, h4. Now I will go for a simple trick. Move my pawn forward, and here the only inaccuracy of the game. The engine says make a queen, and then it's winning, and I play king d6, and it's lost for checkmate sequence, but if this pawn marches forward, it's like this. But he wanted to keep playing, and I saw the facial expressions that he has. He was ready to keep playing, and king d6, this is a beautiful paint of the game. This is really a beautiful position to end the game on, and this is the only mistake that I did. If you look at this game, my game is absolutely perfect. I won with 98% accuracy and 10 average centi-pawn loss. When someone is cheating, the game looks like this. But I didn't cheat. It's just that well that I played. He made a mistake, of course. But from there, I didn't blunder anything. I played extremely well. And this game was great. I ended up the game, but I couldn't celebrate this game. Because I know that I have 5 points out of 8. But I'm playing the last round against someone, I don't know who yet. But I know that I have to win this last game. Otherwise, there is no prize, no title, no nothing. We are here. I won this game with 98% accuracy. I think that if I had played h1 queen, I would have had probably even 100% accuracy. I only did one inaccuracy, it's king d6, which is funny. But winning this game already with 100% accuracy would have been a little bit too much. But okay. And okay, and we go back into the room. I played this game again for 6 hours long. My opponent, by the way, I don't want to say anything mean against this guy, but he didn't want to shake my hands in the end. Great sportsmanship, but okay. Actually, he didn't even tell me that he resigned. He just did something on the paper, yeah, for example, we have the paper like this. And what he did is that, okay, this is, by the way, my last game. This is my best game ever. This is the game that gave me my first title. Basically, he was like this, and then he wrote like this down, and and I didn't realize that he was writing something down, and I just look at the game, and he's not looking at the chessboard anymore. He's only looking at his paper. I don't care. I'm still concentrated because I know that he will keep playing. The arbiter behind him saw that he actually wrote down that he resigned, and I don't understand why the arbiter is just jumping on my opponent, and then my opponent clicks on the clock, and I understand. I'm ready to shake hands. He didn't want to. So, nice experience. Hopefully you didn't take it too personally, this thing with the pawn. Now, it's past history. Thank you for this game because, of course, it gave me a chance to play for the candidate master title. And now the last round, and I'm playing the last round with the black pieces, and it was such a problem. I arrive at my room. I don't know the pairings yet, but I was the last game in my category. I arrive at my room, and I'm dead tired. It's 20 o'clock, almost 21 o'clock. We go. I actually received some payments during the day because because I have my own businesses that are working, and I got some payments, so I could actually eat, but I didn't want to eat too much because I didn't eat too much during the whole tournament. Now if I eat too much, I might actually lose my sharpness. Okay, actually I did eat a little bit more than usual. But okay, I see the pairings, and I see that I'm playing against Korab Sarachi. And Korab Sarachi is a guy that won the tournament. And what's funny is, he has the right to even lose the game, he will still win the tournament, but I'm playing with the black pieces. And I knew that a draw for him was okay. Doesn't matter which position, he accepts the draw. On the second table, there is Asani Muhammad, a guy against who I played against. I played against him in the second round, and he's playing against Ivan Ivancic. And Ivan Ivancic and Sarachi Kora, they had like a fight during the tournament because I think in the third or fourth round, Ivancic didn't, he didn't touch the king, or I saw that he touched the king and he did a shadoop, and he touched the king and then said, this thing. And Sarachi Korab said that he didn't say or do anything. And okay, he had to move the king, then he lost the game. So, very, very strange. Usually, because I'm a human, I would have, it's just a strange feeling. I just didn't know what to do. Anyway, I played against him, and I have only one idea in mind. Loris, you have to win. If you win, 100% sure. I have to show you the pairings, of course, and how everything looks like. After the 8th round, I'm here. I have 5 points, and if you look, okay, you don't need to see everything, but notice that there are basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people with 5 points. I'm number 6, so there are 4 people over me, and if everyone there this guy wins, they are in front of me. It doesn't matter if I win or lose. So actually, even if I lose right now, it might not be enough to win the game. I look at the pairings, both of these guys are playing together, so I feel like, okay, it's great. They will play together, so there will be a winner, because if they make a draw and I win, I'm second. And if one of them win, it doesn't matter, I'm third. And I see that this guy is playing against Salgado. And since they play together, I know that Salgado will, of course, never lose the game against Cedric because he's a FIDE master, he has experience. In the worst case, they will make a draw, but a draw for him is okay if I win my game. And Asani Muhammad, I see that he's playing against Ivan Ivancic, and I see that if I win and Ivancic wins and this guy wins, I'm fourth and I don't get any titles. So I want Aslani to win his game. And Aslani had a very tough tournament. We see that he made a lot of draws, even a loss, and then he started to win everything. You see that he won the game. And basically he was playing next to me, and I knew that he has to win. And basically he won. And 10 minutes later, by the way, I won my game. And okay, I arrive at the playing hall. It's a morning. I'm a little bit late. I'm playing against Sarachi Korab, and I feel like he's not as sharp as before. So it's already like a plus point for me. I think he's already celebrated. He already celebrated in his mind, the first place of the tournament. He's a candidate master. He was already almost 2300. So technically, he's not a FIDE master, but practically he is. Yeah. And okay, I played the game. Of course, I didn't prepare because I knew that if he wants to play a Catalan, I had my preparation for Salgador ready for this guy, and if he plays e4, we play a Caro-Kann, and I don't need to prepare anything for the Caro-Kann. And I felt like, okay, it's time to go to sleep. I go in my bed at 23 o'clock. I'm dead tired because this game against Salgador took me a lot of energy. And I'm making insomnia. And I didn't sleep any second during the whole night. I didn't sleep at all. And it was tough. I didn't sleep at all because the pressure, the stress, I knew that if I win, I can get my title. And it was such a high pressure for me, and I couldn't sleep at all. And of course, I was calm, but my body wasn't calm. So I still tried to close my eyes and etc. etc. But it's 6 a.m. The game is starting at 9:30. And I understand that I won't be able to sleep the last 2 hours before the game. And if I sleep the 2 last hours before the game, it will be a nightmare for me to play this game because I would be dead tired because of not enough sleep. So at least it's okay, Loris. Force yourself, and it will be all good. By the way, after this game, I have to take the car and ride 1,200 kilometers the other way around. So it's difficult. And with that, the other day I'm starting my studies. So at Sunday I was in Croatia. Monday I'm in Liechtenstein for my studies. So that's the thing. I play. I have my things. I have everything. I arrive at the board. Of course, we had to pack all the stuff. All our things at the hotel, like the Airbnb. Great Airbnb, by the way. My opponent plays e4, I play c6, d4, d5, knight c3, takes. He offers me a draw. Well, I think he offered me a draw here, knight c3, then he offered me a draw. And I said, like in Jigsaw, let's play a game. And okay, we took, and we reached this main position, and I know this is one of the toughest positions to deal with. Basically, white is playing c3 like he did, bishop d3, then knight d2, queen c2, bishop e3, long castles, and this is the best way to fight for a win in this line with the white pieces, and white has a huge winning score. But I know this position very well. I have never lost this position's OTB. And played sure many times, even though I was winning, but on OTB never. So, you still need to know some things about the theory, otherwise you cannot get any title or anything. I played rook e8. This is normal. I don't want bishop f4 to happen. He played queen c2, I play h5, take him some space, and if he's castle short, I can win. I know that this is the best line, knight b7, long castles, h4, h3. I want to go b5, but I have to be careful about b5, so not a fate. c4, bishop e6, king b1, and now the best move nowadays is a3. Sorry, rook c8, and now the best move is a3. Oh, sorry, a3. If you go knight c3 first, bishop b4 was one of the main moves. And now basically I'm threatening b5 because after d5 too many pins. So you go knight e4. And now I can go b5, but d5. And this is probably the best, and this is difficult. And okay, and basically this is what I know. So after a3, the best move is actually knight g6. And if you take, I can grab here. And if you don't take and you play something like knight c3, I go knight e7, and now I can play b5. Let's say rook one. I can play b5 without d5 because I take. And this is of course very, very good for me. Okay, probably I should go bishop e5 first. And this is a very good position. So I think it's already -3. Yeah, it's okay. Now the engine says equal, but you have to play f4, which is unnatural. But okay, it doesn't matter. I'm just showing it to you, the express version. Over the board, I know what to play. He plays short castle. Okay, he doesn't understand the position. Let's go. Queen c7, h3, knight d7. And here he plays c4. And c4, usually, its best answer is c5. So I played c5. And again, I'm dead tired. And he played b4, which is something that I have never seen before. And here I will make my first calculation mistake. And I realize that, okay, actually, Loris, you're very tired. So try to play as good as you can. And I realized, no, as good as I can is not possible. I have the right to be dead tired after this game, but now I have to give everything that I can give right now for my opponent. I have to do it now. I have to kill my opponent now. I played b6, which is wrong. The calculation mistake that I did is takes, and here basically I have some moves like b6, because if you takes this, and then bishop a6, and I'm just better. And I didn't understand that in the game. But actually, this is funny because this is not something that I should understand. This is something that I should have known, but I didn't know that. Jensen says a5, and I'm slightly better, by the way. But okay, I played b6 because I just did a huge calculation mistake. Now it's already +1. But notice that the game that I played to reach my chance was a lot better than the game that actually gave me the title. The game that gave me the title, I was already lost. Ace, okay, knight c3. Again, another calculation mistake. I can just take, but knight b5, I knew that I could sacrifice the exchange here. Here I'm better, but you know, I you know, this. Okay, I understood that, but I somehow my eyes and my brain wasn't sharp enough for that moment. So I ended up playing a6, knight e5, queen a7, and I knew that he had to be better. Of course he is. So what to do when someone is better? And this is something that you should be capable of doing. When someone is better in a certain position, the first thing you should be doing is recognize the concrete pressure ways that your opponent will apply on you. The very concrete way he will use is basically marching on me on the queen side. So dc, bc, b5. So he will have to go rook b1 if he wants to march on me on the queen side. This is the first point. So if he wants to play on the queen side, he has to play rook b1, which means that I can get one free move before he starts marching on me. Now, if he wants to play something like, I don't know, something on the king side, he will have to play f4 or bishop f4. But again, this is another free move that I can get. So basically, it doesn't matter what he does, I can get a free move. Now, what do I want to play if I get my free move? What I want to play is actually bishop b7 to trade off this monster knight. If I trade this monster knight, he will have this pawn on d5, and it will be more weakness that is fixed rather than a passed pawn that is strong. So if I get one free move, I do this move. He plays the move queen d1, and queen d1, okay, it's putting some pressure, but I didn't see this move at all. And that is when I realized that, okay, I understand the thinking process of my opponent. My opponent is a practical player. He's causing me some troubles by playing direct moves. So now that I know that, I know the type of moves that I should be looking at. I played g6 because I found a very concrete way for him to try to apply pressure. It's queen f3. But if queen f3, I can play the move bishop f8, and if he grabs this pawn, the pawn of queen f3 is to attack here, I can play bishop g7 and then win the pawn on d4. And once I realized that, it's a lot easier for me to find a good move or find any other, it's just simpler for me to find moves because I basically understand his thinking process. So I played g6, and now he took on c5, but now I found it strange because the queen is no longer really acting on the queen side, but okay, it's still applying, so probably it still works. I took back, and now he will play bishop e3. And bishop e3, he's not threatening to take anything. And okay, he didn't play rook b1, so actually I want to try and see if I can play my free moves, because it's like, I think it's just a waste of time. And I find the move bishop b7. And after bishop b7, the lines that I had to calculate is, of course, takes. If I take, takes. And if I take back, there is knight c7. And I calculated bishop g2. I don't want to show you too much from that calculation because it's taking a lot of time. But basically, okay, it doesn't work, says the engine. Yeah, rook e3 is the second move that I wanted to go for. And if he takes here, I can take that way. Takes, takes. If you go, for example, here, this is just, I think, great. No. Rook g3. I didn't see that. But basically, I didn't see that. I think I would have found that because I already had rook e3 in mind, but this is the winning plan. Okay, so I was a little bit lucky, but I missed that. Anyway, I saw that, but I missed that. Anyway, he played bishop e2. Another waste of time. Now I can play rook a d8, and now all my pieces are perfectly placed. And now I realize that he lost his whole advantage. And now I realize that if he wants to go for rook b1, now b5 is never playable because after pawn takes, a2 is hanging. So he played rook b1, and I realized, okay, now takes, rook takes. I cannot play queen a2 because my bishop is hanging, so I play bishop a8, and now my pieces are perfectly placed. I'm okay with whatever he wants to do, because if he opens up a position, now my pieces are great. Takes, I mean, I have already a huge advantage. Takes, and I mean, I don't have anything else to prove. I can even play knight takes because after this move, he cannot take, I grab the queen. Probably it's wrong, but I would have taken with the queen anyway. Okay, I play bishop a8, and I know that now my position is actually alright. But notice how this game is already a little bit iffy. You know, I have to be solid even though I cannot be solid. But you know, I have to force myself to not think about me, but think about the best practical solutions. I'm playing against a practical player. This guy is strong because he's causing you a lot of troubles, and you have to deal with the troubles. You know, he's more or less accepting your playing style, and he's basically allowing you to make the mistake. Anyway, he plays the move queen c2, and you see this is a mistake, and I understood what was my winning move. The winning move is bishop d5. Takes, rook e3, takes, and here I understood that I have this exchange sacrifice. But somehow, again, I was that tired, and I couldn't, of course, in blitz I would have done that in blitz in a second, and and my hand wanted to do it immediately, but I was that tired. That's the thing. And when you're that tired, you're just stupid basically. And okay, I didn't fully see how to make a huge progress, and I thought if I had to play f5 now, it's probably too slow. I'm probably allowing the queen to get in, but this is just dubious. I mean, I go f5, not f6. Okay, so I played that first f5, and also I'm threatening f4. And there is also another point. He's a practical player. And basically, if he's practical, it's because somewhere in his mind, now this is a little bit of psychology, he's afraid of practical players, because practical players might actually be able to cause a lot of tough troubles, Rook fd1, and I took on d5. I took on d5 because I thought that if rook takes, now I thought that takes, this was also great, but I just missed c5. And I realized that, oh, wait, actually I blundered, he can play c5. Takes, and queen takes. And if I have to go bishop e7, this is not great. I mean, now this is a pass pawn. And I realized that I just blundered. So, yeah, and okay, and I realized that, okay, after rook takes, what about knight f6? Oh no, there is rook d6, I realize. Takes, and bishop takes or pawn takes. And I realized that I'm worse. So I reached that position and I realized that, oh, actually I would have to go, I don't know yet what to play. Probably f4. What does the engine say? The engine says bishop b8. Okay. Okay, this is not so difficult to find. I think that if after eliminating f4, rook e3, knight f6, after having eliminated absolutely all the moves, I think then you can find bishop b8. So actually, I think I would trust myself. But okay, we will never know. We will never know if I would have found that. Anyway, he played pawn takes c5, and now this is probably the best moment of my life. Okay, without exaggerating. Next to me, there is Aslani Muhammad that won his game against Ivancic 10 minutes ago. He won with the black pieces. So I know that if I win right now, I might actually also be second. It depends what happens on the third table between Veleski Robert and Luka Schuhala. Skuhala, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I think he's from Slovenia, so that's the thing. I don't know exactly, but okay. Or Slovakia. Okay. Anyway, I know that if I win right now, I'm probably second, plus candidate master, etc. And if I know that if at the third table there is something else than a draw, I might be third, but that's the end. Because I have more tiebreak points than Aslani, so even if I win and he wins, he will never get in front of me. Plus, I'm playing against Sarachi Korab, so I'm getting 6.5 points plus in my tie breaks, so I'm just okay. If I win, I know that I win with tie breaks, and I get my title. And now, I have 17 minutes. I'm calculating. I can't breathe. I cannot look at the board. My eyes are hurting. My heart is beating extremely, extremely, extremely fast. But I have to keep calm. And I have to keep the calm, the calmest calm of my life. Because if I don't, I might actually lose the game, even though I've been playing. I don't know if I have been playing well or not. But what I know is that I have winning chances now, and I cannot waste my winning chances. So I'm staying calm, and I'm taking 2 minutes just to breathe and take my time. During that time, I feel the tension on the board. I feel that he knows what is going to happen. And there is Asani Muhammad, Eldit Saiti, another Kosovo chess player against who I made a draw, even though I was lost in the third round. There is one arbiter, I think he's from Kosovo, and he came with the whole delegation of Kosovo. There is like an international master, or I don't know, anyway, a trainer from the Kosovo League. There is a very old man playing in the under 17 category or 2000 category, who's also from Kosovo. So there is like the full Kosovo Chess Federation, and I'm playing against their candidate master that will win the tournament. So there is everyone. With that, there are like all the arbiters are here. Even the arbiter that is always sitting looking at the live chess transmission, even he's standing up, and everyone is just looking my game. There are even some people that I don't know yet, some people that I know, some people that I don't know. It's like there are like 20 people, without exaggerating, like 20 people next to me. I play rook e3 next to all of these people, and everyone is breathing hard. I don't know, by the way, if there was the organizer of the tournament. The organizer of the tournament is a grandmaster. I don't know his name. I forgot his name, but I don't know if he was there or not. But anyway, it was brutal. Everyone was there. I played rook takes e3, and he understood that he's dead lost. If he takes, now it's easier. I take, I go knight f6, I go here. If you play queen d2, I thought queen d3 to counterattack. It doesn't matter. I play a5, I play this, and you have just no plan with the white pieces. And that is the whole point of that. You have no plans. You have absolutely nothing. There is no queen a6. I take the pawn. And if you have nothing to play, believe me, I will play. And even if I'm not winning, I know that this thing, all my pieces playing on the dark squares, are stronger than your light squared bishop. Your light squared bishop will never do anything on the dark squares. So I play rook takes e3. He's thinking for a minute, and he decides to not accept the sacrifice, and he played b takes e5. I didn't think. I took on e2. If he takes, I take the queen, of course. And so he took on e2, I play knight c5, and I know that I'm winning. He played rook dc1, I played queen a8, because if now I get this pawn, there is nothing else he can do. And there is no real good way to defend this pawn. If you go rook there, I go knight e4, threatening forks, threatening bishop c5. And if I go bishop c5, you're losing the pawn and the pawn, so it's winning. He played rook b6, and now music started hitting me, which is strange. It's typical PNG stuff. But music started hitting me. It's the music, your final message. It's like a funk music, like a very good. I don't know if it's a very good one, but I never knew this music's name, this song's name. And I talked about this music to my brother after the game, after I got my title, and he told me, yeah, this is the music. This is the name of the music, and I realized that actually. Somehow it's somehow magical, but this music hit me because actually this is the last words that he has to say in this game. It's completely winning. I don't have to think. And this music starts hitting when I realize that, oh no, there's rook d1. No, there is no rook d1 because I can take bishop h2, and this is no-brainer win. This and this, and this is just winning. I don't care. Even if I go like rook d2, takes, this is also easy peasy winning. I'm up 2 pawns. And this is when this music started hitting me. And he realized that he doesn't have rook d1. He played king f1 just to play rook d1. I play bishop f8 to not allow this. Queen c4. I trade, and play rook d2. If I move my knight, I lose the pawn, so I prefer to play rook d2 first. And probably the best way to defend is like playing something like a3 or a4. But even this is not enough. And if a3, I'm okay with trading off the rooks. Even if we actually read what happened in the game, it's okay. Because in the game, he played rook b8, I play king g7. If he wants to sacrifice, he can do that. I don't care. Because now I'm up 2 pawns, and this is like, this is a very elementary win. You have to know how to win with this pawn on a7 and the rook on a8 with the pawns on the king side. Basically, the king will stay on g2, and at some point, I will push my pawns, and if the king goes to... Okay, I will basically show you. But basically, this is a very elementary win. Basically, what you have to do is the following. Let's say we reach that position. Okay, basically, we reach that position. Now what I want to do with the black pieces is move my rook out of the way and then promote. Now, one way I want to do it is go for check, takes, and queen. The problem is now there is the rook capturing the queen. So what I want to do is either to wait until the rook goes there, because if the rook is no longer behind the pawn, I can do this thing over here. Or I want to wait this king to go too far away to allow me to go behind, and if you take, I do a skewer and I get the rook, and if you don't take, I do a queen. And once you get that, you know that the rook can never take any pawns here because it's winning. And if I bring my king over there, he will just check me all the time from behind. So my approach would have been to just, push my pawns. And let's say we reach something like this. At some point, I would just try to, to push my pawns like this. And once we do this thing, I will show you. Basically, what I would do is that I will, like push my pawns so that he doesn't have the g2 square, because if he waits all the time, I can play g2. And like he cannot stay here anymore. If he goes too far up, there is this check. And if he takes, it's the same. And this is basically what I want to do. I show it, in a very strange manner, but this is basically what will happen. And you can win like this when you have only one, when you are only 1 pawn up. But now I'm up 2 pawns, so it's even easier. And once you understand how it works, you understand how to win. And in the game, what happened is that I played rook a4, he played rook g3, I played rook a1, and he resigned. Notice the amount of efforts that I had to put in this last 3, 4, 5 games to reach my highest level and be capable of playing. But also realize the amount of patterns that I had to recognize, the amount of things I have to find out, the amount of details I had to take care of. This is just impossible. And many players aren't even capable of understanding these patterns individually. So since they aren't capable of understanding all the theoretical part of all these patterns, they can't find these ideas on the board during their chess games. And becoming a titled player means that you are recognizing all the possible patterns that exist. Doesn't matter if we talk about strategical patterns, tactical patterns, but you have to recognize them. If you don't recognize them, you will never be able of becoming a title player, even a candidate master title. I was already national master. I was already arena grandmaster. But Candidate Master FIDE is the first FIDE OTB title that I have, but I was already a national master, so it's okay for me. It's just that, Candidate Master is better than NM for me, at my eyes. In some countries, national master is 2,000. In some countries, it's 2,100. But Candidate Master is good. Now I think I'm rated, I didn't count yet, but I think I'm rated around 2100 FIDE. I'm a Candidate Master, so I became a Candidate Master thanks to the 3rd place at these championships. And okay, technically speaking, I'm still 100 rating points too far from the Candidate Master title, but 2100 at Candidate Master title, it's okay. With that, I'm extremely good at Blitz, in Rapid. In all my OTB games, I have never lost against a grandmaster in OTB games. Against Bilal Belhassen, but I was winning against him, so I don't count that as a loss. And I was that ill. But okay, it doesn't matter. What I want to say is the following. To become a title player, you absolutely have to recognize all the patterns that exist, and to recognize them, you have to play many chess games. Online blitz, rapid blitz. It doesn't matter if it's blitz, rapid, bullet, or classical. If you're not concentrated during your chess games, you will never learn anything. So the approach is really to take care of any games that you are playing. Each game is a lesson, and each game is a serious lesson. And if you don't learn anything from the games that you're playing, it's just a waste of time. If you play chess in the bar, but you're learning a lot of things because you're playing against a grandmaster or whatever, you're learning more than someone that is playing 50,000 bullet games every day, but who isn't concentrated. If during your bullet games you're just concentrated on the openings, it's already great. You're already understanding and improving your your pattern recognition senses of the openings. And basically, yeah, this is my trophy. This is what I've been. This is what I've been reaching. This is for the moment my best international performance. Of course, I'm very happy of that. In 2 years, I will try to be playing the Olympiad with my new country, and yeah, I'm very happy of this game. My next goal is, of course, FIDE Master, International Master, and Grandmaster in many years. I will play the World Amateur. We will see how it goes at the World Amateur. This is a very cool trophy. Of course, this is like very, very important for me that I've won this trophy, that I've won this title. At the end of the day, you need a lot of experience and you need to be calm psychologically. I never had like chess problems because chess is very simple to improve at. My biggest weaknesses were psychological weaknesses. I realized that when I was playing, for example, the Grand Prix Open, I was capable of holding draws, of winning games against IMs, grandmasters. But when I am playing against 1800s, my games are very poorly. Just before this tournament, I played a chess tournament in France at Vaslon. I lost against an 1800s with the white pieces. I lost against the 1700s with the black pieces. And now my two best games ever were played with the black pieces at the European Chess Championship. Okay, on the 2300, but still against the FIDE master and against a candidate master that was rated 2300. So it's not like chess. It's not because you lose one or two games, even 3 games in a row, that you're the worst chess player ever. It's just that this time it didn't work out well for you. And I want to thank Marco Miosi to just have punished me brutally when I was winning against him. He punished me, and I don't know if with the win that I had, if I would have learned that much. Having lost this game, how should I say it? It forced me to win. It forced me to have this switch in my it forced me to have this winner mentality, this mentality of if I don't win, I die. And this is only thanks to Marco Miosi. So if you're there, thank you very much for the game that you won against me. By the way, I followed him on Instagram. I will thank him again in his DM. Thank you very much for this very long game. I know that I already did a very good video on how to, on what it takes to become a title player. But these games were very important. Everything here is important. So subscribe, share. If you're looking for some chess books on the London system, some theory chess books, because before this tournament, I was already working on the theory for some FIDE Masters and 2 NMs. Because, I'm actually a chess coach. Yeah, I'm doing now my small promotion. I have I had one girl. She was in the top 100 in the world FIDE list, by the girls. And okay, we're no longer working together. And okay, otherwise I had, how's it called again? I have a woman now in Sweden. She's in the top 10. I have 2 youth in the US. They are basically state champions, and one of them is also national champion. What else? I have some small students in Switzerland and Italy. They're very strong, very talented. I don't want to give the ratings because it can be problematical for me and for them. Yeah. And okay, this is basically what I had to say. But anyway, all my students are over 2050. No, my weakest now is 2038. Yeah, so that's funny. Anyway, thank you very much. If you're looking for a good chess coach, let me know in the comment section. Thank you again. Subscribe. Go check out my other uploads about some theory. Hopefully see you in the future. Take care.